All right, today's the 21st of August. Ended my fast and did the 3 days, the day before, the day of the full moon in Aquarius, and the day after. And I wanted to just give you the results of that and tell you a little bit about my chart, and maybe you can start understanding and grasping or grasping even further how this thing works. Is I let the energies be because I think that's what we deal with. I don't try to get myself too caught up in what I think's going to happen, what's going to happen, whatever. And I felt like the fast would get me to a place that would help me end or finalize or complete things from a perspective that anything my body was holding on to, I'd maybe rid myself of that. So the initial part of the fast, I was fascinated by I couldn't digest. I had indigestion, and I've never had that problem when I fasted. I had that for about 2.5 days. Finally, the saltwater rinse was really kicking in, and I was able to eliminate everything, and I got to the point where I started feeling better, and then when I did eat today, I really felt well. So I figured I'd just update you here of what the fast did and what I was surprised. A little bit about my chart. I have all of the mutable signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, in my cardinal houses. So in the first house of each season, 1, 4, 7, and 10. So what that is basically is you're trying to be the master, but you're just becoming, or trying to really become the master. And I felt like fasting in this full moon really helped me come to understanding of what I'm doing and what I'm repeating. I've had a lot of dreams, or at nights I'm trying to, and I'm putting it out there, so maybe I get it out and it happens less, where I'd put things out there, but I'd always like assess as I'd lay in bed, my mind would race, and should I have done that? Should I not have done that? Could I have done more? What could I do more? So it's like I try to solve all that. And I find that extremely fascinating, that I found myself vacillating between I fall asleep and then I wake up due to the scenarios I just talked to you about. So what happened to me was I talked about this Aquarius full moon. I talked about it being where it's into the future, but it's also showing you your past, showing you maybe what worked or what you dealt with in the past. And I have the North Node in the fourth house in Gemini in my natal chart, and this was very fascinating for me. As the North Node is what you're going to in this life, and Gemini in holding the North Node in the fourth house is where you try to complete the spring season. So in other words, you planted a seed in April, or late March, April. That's Aries. You work to keep all the situation good, and the plant starts to come up. By the time it gets to late April, May, you see the plant, and you know what it is, and then you start to figure out how you're going to take care of it. So what I saw, what the fasting did for me, which I found completely fascinating, because Jupiter and Mars are in Gemini right now, is that, and that's in my fourth house of home. So I found completely fascinating is I tried to, my past kept coming up in all scenarios, whether it was relationships, family, children, where I lived, where I currently live, the things I've done in my life good, mostly though things that I always try to go back and I got to work on. And so what I found extremely fascinating was that as I look back over things, I go back to, and this is a personal thing, because I have Gemini, twins looking one way and the other in the North Node. I'm working still on what I should have done, could have done, or improved or done better from my past. And so I would long for like my children and my a past home or a past scenario, and like the girls were at the beach, so it was like I was longing for the things in my life today too, but it was like, how could I do them better, or how could I be more. And I'm like, why do I always do that to myself? I'm not a terrible person. Yeah, I got stuff to work on. Why do I live in that realm of working on things? So I'm working through that. But I finally saw them in a way that I think I'm going to do it in a good way. In that, realizing I also have Saturn and Pisces in the first house. So it's like up to this point, up to really when I was 35, Saturn is where you kind of take the blame, so to speak. It's the devil, or how we look at things and where they don't have a positivity to them, or they have limitations, right? And so that's what I find myself vacillating back, all the way back there most of the time, and then trying to get out of it through my then feeling and kind of being sad or longing for that which was, or how could it be, or have I done enough? And so it made me realize who I am, what I am, and how I can work on it. So hopefully you see a difference in me as I move forward, in that I think I finally am becoming the master I was meant to be. But because of all my mutable signs, where you must become the master of every season of spring, summer, fall, and winter, that I'm working truly on, and where I probably got myself, Saturn and Pisces, the end of winter, was the beginning for new, and that there was opportunities for me to move forward, and I would be my own worst enemy, so to speak, there, and to try to get moving on that. Now, I also have Mars in the South Node in Gemini, all within 2 degrees, in Sagittarius at the very top of my chart. I have Pluto and Uranus exactly conjunct in Virgo. So you can see in my natal chart, I have all this stuff in the mutable. So it's like I feel the need to talk about what I know, and I can't. It's tough for me to come through, or I'm learning, and as I'm explaining, I'm working on it with myself. So when I saw this Aquarius moon, and I had time because everybody left me, so I can truly fast beginning time here. I'm going to do it again next full moon, and it'll be in Pisces, and it'll be where my Saturn is, first house. Even though I'm an Aquarius ascendant, all my cardinal houses are loaded with almost 2 signs. That I'm going to do this again and see what the full moon does. The last time I fasted about 2 months ago, I completely just slept the whole time. I was exhausted, but I really rejuvenated. I don't think I slept as much, but I think I did the work that the first house says. It's the beginning of spring. We must begin. And I'm really working from my past. How is my past, and how I deal with it and what I see with it? How am I going to work on that? So I'm hoping all this helps you, because the truth is that these cardinal signs all had these mutable signs all had planets in them except for Sagittarius. Pisces had Saturn and Neptune. Virgo had the Venus, and then Gemini had Mars and Jupiter. So so I found that fascinating, of how I worked on, or what I worked on, and how I did it. The other thing that I know is very strange for what's going on in my life, I have Uranus on my moon, my natal moon my natal moon's at 29 degrees Taurus, and Aquarius is there. So I'm really working on what I was, and to bring that back, that which is going to be useful. So, and find ways to communicate with it, to bring it to us. So, the Mars and Jupiter, just to recap a little bit, the Mars and Jupiter in Gemini is learn how to nurture the plant that you see has risen to the surface. So that's our opportunity here as this is going on. I told you I was an Aquarius ascendant. Uranus rules Aquarius, so I'm squaring that up, but I'm learning how to take, like, my home environment, how to begin anew with what I know, and what I can make a better home. And then lastly, I'm just going to leave you with this. I think that this Aquarius moment, it's worried about your future, but it can bring back from the past that which will apply itself again, or always has worked. We just kind of released it or didn't use it. I think the biggest thing I learned from this is be in the moment, and be grateful for where you're at, what you have, and what you've done. Even if you do like what I've found myself in my in my meditation and in my fasting is I really like get on myself for who I was, what I was, and if I wasn't perfect, so to speak. So the key is going to be, as we're all moving forward here, and especially what I'm working on is as we advance with all this stuff in the mutable signs, is you are the master. Find out what is your mastery, so to speak, in this life, and then be grateful for what it is, because it's going to be extremely unique to anybody else. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to update you that. I thought that was fascinating.